It's a whole new world we live in. Okay,
it's a whole new place to see.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the most must-see podcast on the interwebs, as voted on. I am your host, Ambrose, and I am joined by my host, Fuzzy. We have a great show planned for today, so without further ado, sit back, relax, and make sure you silence your cell phones. Anyways, while we kick things off today, Fuzzy, question for you. What video game will you never 100% complete?
I think I speak on behalf of three of us. PastMorning isn't here with us today.
And more sickness on the PastMorning side.
That the three of us and you fellow gamer assassins will also agree. Now, I'm a huge fan of Bethesda. When it comes down to it, despite all the bugs and this and that, they're one of my favorite publishers, followed by Rockstar and Rare.
Good choices.
I know I've lost track with how many new game files that I've created in Skyrim because I've played my character differently. Sure, I've installed thousands of mods and I've played this way and that way, but you know what? I don't think I've actually even beaten the main storyline.
You know, it's interesting that you say that because I played Skyrim once. I'll admit that. I played it once. I played it twice before that, but I could never get into it. I played like an hour both times. I finally got into it when it came to PS4, and I finished the main story, and it didn't really do much else.
Really?
Not that I didn't feel inclined to do much else. It just once I finished the main story, I was like, all right, it's time to play a different game. And
well, you should play the Brotherhood. They're really good.
I did play the Brotherhood. I did play a lot of the DLC stuff too. So it's
okay. So you
main story and DLC.
DLCs.
I loved the werewolf stuff. I had to do that.
Well, you got it. I mean, have you played the vampire?
Yeah.
How did you feel about that?
I'm not a big fan of vampires.
Yeah, I mean,
I liked the werewolf stuff better.
Mm-hmm. But once right there, right when you get out of the game, you can go the first thing.
Right. Anyways, so on this topic, this is one that I kind of struggled with a little bit because I don't tend to try to 100% games anyways. I've been doing it quite a bit lately. I recently, quote unquote, as in last few games I played, I 100%ed Final Fantasy 15, Spider-Man, and Kingdom Hearts 3. So I'm really proud of myself there. But I think one game that I'll probably never be able to 100% complete is The Witcher 3. And I haven't even tried. I think this is my third time starting it now. Each time I start it, I play it for a little bit, and then I get sidetracked playing a different game. So I'm actually playing it this time, hoping to actually get pretty far in it. But I think the game itself is way more than any one person could probably handle at once. Yeah. So I'm probably never going to be able to 100% it, let alone probably beat anything.
If you guys beaten it, let us know down in the comments below.
And I'm going to call you a liar.
Because nobody beats that, just like nobody beats Dark Souls.
Well, I mean, not to mention there's also two expansions to the game.
I think so.
And both of them basically are like another game in and of themselves. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I'm never going to be able to finish that game.
There's so much good stuff to that game, and you want to enjoy every element of it.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a great game. It's one that, you know, I can definitely see wanting to 100% because there's so much stuff to do and wanting to play in it. It's never going to happen. What video game did you end up hating?
I hated Sid Meier's Civilization, despite loving strategy games. It's right up my alley. Now, I love Anano, which is basically like that. It's basically your standard build-em-up kingdom games. And I also loved Heroes of Might and Magic, but I played the first few generations. I haven't played any of the recent ones. But I was quickly disappointed since the game Sid Meier's Civilization has a much steeper learning curve that I really couldn't get behind. And I was quickly disappointed because it seems more like it's based on policies and you really don't get to build up your kingdom. You don't get to build an army. I mean, you go out and you conquer or you can make allies, but it's not really what I was expecting.
Yeah, I can get behind that. I recently picked up Civilization 6 for the Switch, and I could not get into it. Part of what you said about, the learning curve. I feel like there's a lot to it. That granted, it's the sixth one, so maybe if I had played the other ones first, I would have known something. But I kind of figured it's not really a story-driven game per se, so I wouldn't need to play the other one. But it seems like that doesn't really.
It really doesn't
do a very good job of teaching you how to play the game.
It just throws you right into the game.
Which, for strategy games, that's generally how it ends up being anyway. It's like, here, sink or swim, try to figure out what you're going to do.
Yeah, but I don't know what it's like on the Switch, but on PC, the UI is just so confusing. I have no idea what I'm doing.
It's kind of confusing on the Switch, too.
It's like, what does this do?
As far as video games that I ended up hating, I actually have two of these games, and they both came out last year. One of which probably will be no surprise to you. But the first
Kingdom
one...
Hearts.
No! That came out this year, just so you know, and I ended up loving it. No, anyways, first one is a game called We Happy Feet. You heard about that one?
Yes.
Okay.
I think so.
It's a game created by the creators of Borderlands, which that right there is like, hey, I'm all for it. I love Borderlands. And it's like a survival... Originally, it looked like it was pitched as a survival horror game in a way. And it's a game about everybody's on a drug called joy. And it takes place in like post World War One, I want to say, like London, and it's everyone's hyped up on this drug called joy, which makes them all feel happy all the time, no matter what happens. And if you are caught not taking joy, you get exiled from the community and have to live out in the homeless thing. So the whole game is supposed to be about you trying to counteract what the joy is doing, while also trying not to be hyped up on joy. Mm-hmm. Like you're trying to pretend like you're doing joy, and maybe doing it so you can pass, but at the same time trying to be a normal person because you've been taken off the joy. And the issue that I have with the game, first and foremost, is that it doesn't really feel like the way it was pitched. Like the game like I said, it was originally seemed like a survival horror game in a sense, similar in a style almost to Fallout in a way. And it definitely seemed like it was going for like a survival horror element, like the whole stealthiness to it, and it didn't really come off that. It was more and like one of the things they pitched for it was you have to pretend like you're on joy, or you have to like try to take some joy without overdosing type thing. And there really isn't a thing at all. You walk around in the middle of town and nobody cares that you're on joy or not. Like nobody really notices. And not to mention the game is a glitchy mess. Mm. And honestly, it's just kind of boring. So it was a game I was really excited for, and I was really looking forward to it, and it really let me down. The other one, on the same note as that, while we're segueing straight out of that, Fallout 76.
Yeah.
Fallout 76 was a horribly disappointing piece of shit.
You know, I actually requested the beta key, and I got it, and I just hated it. Yeah. I mean, I was never big into Fallout. I mean, I did enjoy it, but...
I loved Fallout. I love Fallout 4, even though a lot of people said, oh, Fallout 4, not the best Fallout. Mm-hmm. I like Fallout 3, I like Fallout New Vegas. You know, so, but the funny thing is, though, as the games have progressed, the games have gotten more and more, less and less survival aspect of it. Like, you know, in Fallout 4, they stripped out a lot of the mechanics that made Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas good. Mm-hmm. I still personally liked it, but a lot of people didn't like that. Well, Fallout 76 went one step further and took out everything that made Fallout 4 what it was, and just turned it into a shell of an MMO. And when I say shell, I mean like after you hard boil an egg and you're peeling the shell off and throwing it in the garbage, and you get all those little small pieces. No, it's not at all a full game. I remember when it came out, I played it with my friend for like about an hour or so, and it was first things first, it was boring. Like I thought maybe if you're playing with friends it'll be alright, but no, it was boring. It was, as with most Bethesda games, it was super freaking glitchy, and it had no life. Like they took out all the NPC characters and only had robots, and it's like that's not very fun, in my opinion. So there wasn't any sense of direction.
It could have been really good. I mean, if they had copied what they did with ESO, it could have been done really well.
It could have, but
they
wasn't.
Did the complete 180, I felt.
Yeah, they really did. It was not very good, I thought. I was super disappointed with it, and it's... like, the fact that it was released at $60 as a full game, quote unquote, and it was like...
half a game.
It wasn't even half a game. Alright, so, we got a little bit negative there.
Hey you, yes you have a voice, so why not be heard? Sharing your voice on the web is easier than ever. With Anchor FM, anyone can start their own podcast within seconds. There's no technical skills, no limits in your account, and it will always be free. Plus, with a custom RSS feed, you'll be able to easily import your podcast to Apple and Google, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and your favorite streaming services. So what are you waiting for? Check them out below, and make sure to visit us there as well.
On that note, we're going to transition into something that everybody loves. We're going to talk about Super Smash Bros.
Alright.
I love Super Smash Bros.
Bonus question. Who do you play as in Smash Ultimate?
Ooh, okay. So for a long time in Smash Bros, my main was always Link. And when I say main, I mean he was the guy I was the best with. So I wouldn't play with him very often because I was really good with him. And then, like, if I needed to win, I'd play Link and I'd destroy people. But this Smash Ultimate, I've been playing Simon Belmont, King K. Rool, and Incineroar. And two of those characters be like, oh, you're one of them type of people. Especially King K. Rool, because he's broken as hell. He really is. But Simon Belmont is my boy. I love Simon Belmont. I'm a big fan of the old Castlevania games anyways. So when I saw Simon Belmont, I lost my shit. So I started playing Simon Belmont. I wasn't sure I was going to like him at first, but he grew on me and I really like him. What about you? I know you don't play Nintendo quite as much, but you probably know a little bit about Smash.
Well, I grew up with Smash, but I'm all about that Kirby. I'm all about that down beam motion. You're always going to miss it, but when it does connect 2% of the time, it's so worth it. But honestly, no, I do like Fox, I do like Ness.
So you like all the original characters.
And I like Mega Knight.
Oh, Meta Knight.
Meta Knight.
Meta Knight's cool. I like Meta Knight. He's broken. He was broken. He's not so broken anymore. But I also got to give a shout out to my boy Cloud. Like, mainly just because he was a character no one ever thought was going to get in Smash. And I love Final Fantasy, so when I saw Cloud, I fanboyed. I fanboyed all over the room. They had to clean up after me. I'm just kidding. That was a bad joke. Don't take that too seriously. Leave that in. So anyways, with that out of the way, the good and the bad. What do you think about Smash Bros? Have you played much of the new one yet?
I mean, I have. I mean, PastMorning and his brother do have a Wii, so I do go over there and play it every now and again. Although I'm not the best at fighting games. They're not really my cup of tea, but I do enjoy them quite a bit. Mm-hmm. The one thing that I'm not a big fan of, and I'm not sure if anybody else really feels the same way, but I hate how they put the display, like, if you're off screen to tell you how far you are off on the screen. Shut up, computer. Anyways, I find that really distracting when that thing pops up, because it just diverts my attention so much that I don't know I'm going to learn.
Right. I've never actually heard that complaint before. Like, that was actually one thing that a lot of people kind of liked about the new Smash game, is that when you got knocked off the screen, you could see where you had to go to get back. So a lot of people liked that. What are some other things you felt about the game?
I kind of didn't like that they didn't use the original music. I mean, I really liked the old music back on the N64 and GameCube. Although I will say that I do enjoy how awesome it plays. I mean, if it was really smooth.
Yeah. Like you, I'm not the best at fighting games. I'm really not. I enjoy fighting games. I love, your Mortal Kombat, Soul Calibur, all that stuff. I love fighting games. I'm not very good at it. This actually is like the first Smash Bros. Game that I actually feel good at, really. Like, I've never been the best at Smash Bros. When compared to my friends. Like, they're all like, been able to beat me, which is why I choose Link a lot, because he's my boy. I can smash with Link. But this one's like, actually, I feel really good at this game almost. And I love that they brought all the characters back, which was like something that, like, you're like, that's not gonna happen. Like, Solid Snake and Cloud are like the two that everyone's like, oh, they're not gonna come back. They ain't coming back. And they came back. And everyone's like, oh, crap, they came back. Everyone lost their shit when Solid Snake got revealed as coming back.
And also, isn't this the biggest roster?
Yeah, because not only did everybody come back, but there's also all these new characters, too.
Isn't there like 80-some?
76, I think, including Echo Fighters and Piranha Plant.
So, I mean, they did a really good job on that, so that way people can play who they want to play.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, I've been a fan of Nintendo ever since I was a child. My first system as a kid was the Super Nintendo. Mm-hmm. And so, like, I love Nintendo. I love, Mario, Zelda, all that stuff. Pokemon was like my thing as a kid. I love it. So having a game with all these Nintendo characters in it, even ones that I don't really remember that much. I didn't play Metroid much as a kid.
No,
but I'm still really hyped that, like, you got Ridley in the game. Even though that was mainly just because, like, hey, Ridley's in the game, cool. And then I play Ridley, it's like, Ridley's actually pretty badass. But so I love that they got all these characters from all these different video games in it, and including games that, like, you wouldn't associate with Nintendo necessarily, like Final Fantasy and Metal Gear Solid, both of which have been on Nintendo, but not generally associated with Nintendo.
I kind of don't feel like they belong on that game, because to me, I don't know, it just feels really weird to have actual people from different consoles and systems.
Yeah, I agree with that. In fact, I never really liked having Solid Snake in the game. He just seemed like he didn't fit in the game, in my opinion. He was one that, like, this is a game about shooting and killing people, and he's in a game with a bunch of cartoon characters. And it just seemed really weird, so I never really got all that into it. Another character, I'll tell you right off that I don't like this character, freaking Isabelle from Animal Crossing. I feel like, and a lot of people say, oh, it doesn't matter if she wasn't in because, whatever. But, like, to me, it feels like they wasted a character slot in Isabelle, because she could have just been a clone of Villager, and you'd been okay with it. I feel like they could have used her spot to give someone else a chance. Like frickin' Gino from Super Mario RPG, or Sora from Kingdom Hearts. A character that everybody wanted. Or Banjo-Kazooie. Everybody wants Banjo-Kazooie. Or hell, I'll take Steve from Minecraft over Isabelle. I don't care.
It would actually be really interesting to see if Crash made an appearance. I mean, I really doubt it, but that would be kind of awesome.
I mean, there's been a lot. Ever since Smash Bros. Was first announced last year, there was all kinds of speculation. There was a leak every other day about who was going to be in it. There was characters from Banjo-Kazooie, Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, Steve from Minecraft got pitched a couple times, frickin' Dante from Devil May Cry. All these different characters got pitched as leaks for Smash Bros. and characters you wouldn't think of as like Smash Bros, like freaking a motorcycle rider from Excitebike, so like that. Like what? So yeah, I mean, it said that Smash Bros is like not just a celebration of Nintendo anymore, it's a celebration of gaming in general, which is also why Joker from Persona series is coming in as the first big DLC character.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
And he's never been on Nintendo to this point yet. So it's really cool. And it also opens up a big thing too. Like if Joker is the first DLC character, that just shows like who else is going to be characters in the upcoming DLC packs. That could open up for anybody. Frickin' Leon Kennedy from Resident Evil could be a character, or Steve from Minecraft. Please don't be Steve from Minecraft. Please don't be Steve from Minecraft. Yes, if you're listening, Nintendo.
Be Steve. You know, I'm actually kind of surprised that Conker's never really made an appearance. I mean, granted, he is rated M and all that, but I think it would be fun to play as the evil Teddies or as Conker. And
I'll say this right now. I would love to play as Conker in Smash Bros, but it's never gonna happen. Mm-hmm. For one thing, Conker only had one game, and he's a dead series at this point. And two, Nintendo kind of wanted to distance themselves from Conker pretty much ever since Conker got rid of him. Because
imagine if you could play as a giant flower.
No.
Yes.
That'd be weird. All in all, though, Smash Bros. So the big question, though, is how does it rate to the other Smash Bros? Because if you're a fan of Smash Bros, like I am, like everybody is, I've played all the Smash Bros games, owned all the systems they were on. Mm-hmm. Everyone says that Melee is the best Smash Bros. You know, Brawl was okay. It wasn't as good as Melee. Personally, I like the Wii U version a lot. Even though a lot of people didn't, like, I think like 10 people actually bought a Wii U. So, like, 5 people played it, maybe. So, that one was obviously gonna have some things. And the 3DS version, I don't think many people bought either.
It came out on the 3DS?
Yeah, it came out on the 3DS.
Huh.
But honestly, I think Ultimate is the best Smash Bros. Game that we have had yet. I'm not even gonna try to say that Melee, I mean, I like Melee, don't get me wrong. But with everything that Smash Ultimate does, it's just so much better. I gotta say it. I honestly, the only bad thing I can really say about Smash Bros. Is, for one thing, they took out the trophies, which is something I really loved in the old Smash games, collecting the trophies and being able to see all these other characters and stuff, which they did with Spirits, but it's not quite the same thing. And the online multiplayer is shit. But I don't play online multiplayer that much anyways, so it doesn't really matter that much. But honestly, if I had to give Smash Ultimate like a score, I'd almost say it's perfect. I'd give it a solid 9 out of 10, easy. Best Smash game. And honestly, I made a list last. I put a list on Facebook last year of the top 10 games of the year of last year. And Smash Bros was number 3.
I can believe it.
Only behind God of War. No, God of War was not. Spider-Man and Red Dead Redemption 2 were the only games last year that I thought were better than Smash. Any more thoughts on Smash Bros?
I'm going to give it a hard 8, I think, because I mean there are some things I would have liked to see, but the fact that there's so many characters, there's so many levels, and just the fact of how good it actually plays without any lag, which was a big issue with Melee and Raw. But still, I'm going to give it an 8.
Yeah, I think the game does lack certain things. Like there's a lot of modes that people loved in the old games aren't in it anymore, mm-hmm. like Target Smash or Home Run Contest or Event Battles.
In the trophies.
I mean, the Spirit board is kind of like Event Battles, so it kind of works. Which actually is one thing I really enjoyed that I wasn't sure I would at first, is the Spirits. Because they did a very creative job of getting these characters that are in these obscure games and representing them with the characters that are in the game. So, like, even though certain characters, like Gino, for example, Gino was like a big one that everybody wanted. Like, Gino got snuffed from being in the game, unfortunately. Hashtag Gino for Smash. But they still gave him a Spirit battle, which is really cool because then it has like a bunch of characters from the Super Mario RPG and 2 other characters to represent Gino and Malo playing in the Smash. So like they did a good job of actually representing him in the game, even though he didn't make it into the character. And I love that they did that. Personally, if I could make a request to Sakurai, hashtag Chrono for Smash. Chrono Trigger. He needs to be in it. Chrono for Smash.
I'm just sitting here nodding and being like, yep. Mm-hmm.
You don't know what I'm talking about.
I have no idea who these people are that you're mentioning.
You don't know Chrono? Oh,
no.
Man. Chrono Trigger was a good game back on the SNES. I forget which one. It was a good game. It was a good RPG. Anyway, so yeah, those are our thoughts on Smash. I think definitely a great game to have. Especially, last week I kind of plugged the Switch a little bit when we were talking about Pokemon. This is another one that's a must-have for the Switch. If you guys are still on the fence of buying a Switch, because it is still $300, they're not budging on that price. This is definitely a game you pick up, especially because it's got great multiplayer. Mm-hmm. You can just sit down and play with your kids, or your friends, your girlfriend, your mom, your dad, your dog.
You could even get some people together, have a LAN party, and pick up some pizzas and have a good event.
Yeah, I mean, I think for New Year's Eve, I just spent like 4 or 5 hours playing Smash Bros with my friends, and it's a great way to pass the time. It's also a great way to ruin friendships if you get a little bit too into it, especially if you play NES. Don't play Ice Climbers. Ice Climbers. I got a friend, right? Okay, you know Ice Climbers.
Yes.
Right? Okay, nobody likes Ice Climbers. Nobody's good at Ice Climbers except for my buddy Alan. My buddy Alan, you give him a character, like he plays Ice Climbers and Wii Fit Trainer. 2 of the characters that nobody wants to play as. You give them to him, he crushes everybody. I don't know how he does it. One of these days he's going to play as Jigglypuff and he's going to wreck the whole thing. Mm-hmm. I don't know how he's going to do it, but he's going to do it. Shout out to Alan right there, my boy. I like him. He's a good guy. So yeah, that's Smash Bros. Like I honestly don't have much bad to say about it. And I think, as far as scoring goes, it's about as close to a 10 out of 10 as we've gotten so far on what we've done here. But, I mean, we're only 3 episodes in. So, come the future, well, okay, yes, 5 episodes in, but 3 of the video game. So, yes. So, I think there's still more room for more 10 out of 10s coming. But this is definitely the closest we're going to get for now. Alright, so, we got some trailers we're going to watch. First one is personally my pick for trailers to watch this week. It's a new game coming out in the summer of this year called Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night. And it's like sort of like a spiritual successor to Castlevania in a way. And it's looking really freaking good. So play that trailer. So my thoughts on this. I think it's freaking beautiful. First things first. It's beautiful. You can clearly see in this game the inspiration that it takes from Castlevania. Have you played Castlevania?
No, I haven't.
No. Well, it's a very interesting game where you're in the castle, as the name would imply, and you got all these different rooms and stuff like that, and you're trying to. In the first one, you're like in a lot of them, you're trying to fight like Dracula and all that kind of stuff. Really good game. Really good time-consuming game. And this one, you can clearly see some of the inspiration. I love a lot of the different powers that you see the character having. And actually, I noticed it said that the character is back. I realized that this is actually technically the second game of the Bloodstained series, I believe. There was one that came out last year, I think, called Curse of the Moon for Switch and 3DS. That's supposed to be the first, so I don't really know if this is like a sequel to that, or if it's like, I think it was told there was like a companion game or something like that. But either way, this definitely looks like it's good. You can see the inspiration. A lot of the boss fights, a lot of the characters even look like they're ripped straight out of Castlevania. And the music is great. Like that.
The music's pretty dope.
Yeah, like the music you see in there, it's kind of like, it got like a techno vibe to it almost. Which, personally, I don't really care that much for techno. But it works in this sense. And just some of the powers you can see, like they had that power she used where she like
inverted the ground,
which is a reference to a lot of the Castlevania games, especially Symphony of the Night, which is arguably the best one in my opinion. Where Symphony of the Night, right? So you play through the castle, and then if certain requirements are met, the castle flips upside down, and you play the entire game again in the inverted castle.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. So like it seems like, especially because they had that little tidbit at the end, like after the name reveal and stuff like that, it seems like maybe they're alluding to something similar to that. Like you play through the game and then you flip the castle and you play again.
Do you play it backwards? I mean,
yeah, all the rooms are like upside down. So like you're playing through the game as if the castle was upside down, and that's actually how you get the true ending of the game. Like you can play through it once, you get an ending, you're satisfied, whatever, and then you realize, oh, there's a whole other half to the game that you didn't even play yet. So it's really looking really good. I'm really hyped up for it. And like I said, you can clearly see the inspirations from Konami stuff in there from the Castlevania series. And like I said, even some of the other powers too, like the ability that they had where she was like bouncing off the walls and stuff like that and other stuff. It just looks so good. And the art style is beautiful. I love this kind of art style in games because like it kind of reminds me of anime in a way, which is weird because I actually don't like anime that much. Except I actually enjoyed the Castlevania anime that was on Netflix. So
there was an anime?
Yeah, they put a Castlevania anime on Netflix 2 seasons in, and you should check it out.
I might.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Anyway, so like I like that art style, and I love just final thing that I want to say about it before we discuss it more or less is the end part. The very last thing you see, that little 8-bit sprite of the dude sitting on the throne and knocking his wine glass over, totally reminds me of just Dracula sitting on. I don't know if that's what it's supposed to be necessarily. I don't know if that's supposed to be reference to Dracula per se, but yeah, it's Dracula sitting on the throne. I don't even care. It's Dracula. So what are your thoughts on this trailer? As someone this is brand new to you, What's your thoughts on it?
I have no idea what I watched this earlier in the week, and I'm still like, what? I mean, it looks really pretty, as you said. It almost kind of feels a little bit like Undertale. It looks a little bit like Undertale, a little bit, which isn't a bad thing. I never played Undertale, but still, I kind of get that kind of vibe from it, along from some other games, Flash games that you can play online. It looks really interesting. I know nothing about it.
Yeah. I mean, one thing like about it is that it has almost like an indie game vibe to it, but if I'm not mistaken, I think this is a AAA developer. I know it's made by the same guy who did the original ones. Whether or not he's still working for Konami, I don't know. But either way, it's definitely got that indie vibe to it. But it's really good. And like, so the Metroidvania style is what it's called, where traversing through all the different rooms and all that kind of stuff, it can be complicated and it turns a lot of people off. And I didn't really like it at first until I actually finally played Castlevania years ago for the first time, and I liked it. I didn't really care for the original Metroid in the same vein, but I grew into it, and it's definitely something that takes getting used to. But the art style and the music, like those right there, are what's going to draw you in. Like, and if it's anything like Castlevania, the story will keep you going.
I don't know what the story could even potentially be.
Well, in the old games, in the Castlevania games, it's about the Belmont clan, Simon and Richter and all of them, and they're constantly fighting with Dracula and Alucard and all that kind of stuff. So like it's almost like it's like they're cursed to constantly do battle with each other, kind of like Legend of Zelda, where Link and Zelda and Ganondorf are constantly cursed to fight each other, so like that. So it's probably going to have a similar story to that, I would say. And I tell you, you can't really get a very good vibe from this necessarily, but the main character looks pretty cool too. And by pretty cool, I mean she's pretty. So I want to read some of the comments here and see what people like. I think this is something we did last week. I kind of enjoyed doing.
What is a man?
What? What was a man? Thanos after the snap. A miserable little pile of secrets. Oh, I'm assuming these are quotes. This is actually a quote to Castlevania. Dracula actually says that at one point. So yeah, it's a reference there. Oh, okay. So go back to this. Okay, so there's a comment here that says, if Konami won't make Castlevania games, then fans will. Step up your game, Konami. So apparently that alludes that this might be a fan game.
It could be.
Which, hey, if so, I'd say it's kind of cool. Because, I mean, it worked with Sonic Mania, for example. I mean, Sonic Team brought in fans to make Sonic Mania, too. So I think it's pretty cool.
I'm old-fashioned. Give me a weapon. That's all I need. Let's go Bloodstained.
Yeah, I love that kind of stuff. I'm actually inspired. I'm a little bit of tidbit here. I'm inspired to make a Dungeons & Dragons character based on Simon Belmont.
Huh, it was on Kickstarter and too.
Yep.
That's definitely interesting. On a game that's on Kickstarter, it actually makes its way to development.
It's uncommon for one to make its way to development and actually not suck. I mean, we know of Mighty Number 9, the spiritual successor to Mega Man, which was on Kickstarter for a long time, and it sucked. Wait, okay, never mind. So yeah, this game is set to release summer of this year, I think.
Yeah, summer 2019.
Yeah, summer 2019. No confirmed release date yet, but I mean, I'm sure you'll get one soon. So let me know in the comments below if you're going to be picking this game up in a couple of months, because I'm psyched for it, and I want to know if you guys are too. Our next trailer, Fuzzy. What are we watching now?
We are watching Colony Ship.
I don't know what that is. Explain it to me.
Basically,
as if I'm a child. I confused them, guys. It's okay.
Well, it caught my attention on Steam, and I'm a huge sucker for our strategy and RPG games. And this is going to be releasing in fall 2020. From what I've gathered, it almost feels a little bit like XCOM to a small extent, given the skill-based character system. How characters can have biological implants in turn-based combat. Now, something interesting is that the game says that the player was born on the ship just like his father, and he's destined to die on that ship. They're on this ship out in space because they're on a ship that's going to colonize a new planet. One concern, though, that I do have about this game is the amount of content. Are the quests going to be completely bound on the ship itself, which are going to be making allies and enemies between 3 separate fractions? Basically, it looks pretty interesting, and I'll be following this game pretty closely.
My first question for you, Fuzzy. It says it's a concept trailer. What does that mean? Is this like not a legitimate trailer, or what's the deal?
I don't know.
Well, because I noticed first first of all, on here it says X the New World. Okay, so and I noticed on there it basically says like the New World is the name of the game. So I'm a little confused as to kind of what this means. Click on that. Okay,
it's probably early access.
Probably. So this just first impressions from me, I'd say. It looks pretty, which I mean I guess that's always the first thing you get, that it's pretty. Because that's like the first thing you notice. Is this an RPG? Would you say? I mean, it definitely looks RPG-esque.
Yeah, it's an RPG-based game.
Yeah. It looks really good. So, is this whole game, is this a ship?
I believe so. There really doesn't seem to be that much explanation going about if you're going to be stuck on the ship or not, or if you're going to be venturing out into space to tackle different stuff.
Interesting.
From what I've gathered from the Steam page, what happens is that you're going to be fighting for fractions.
Well, yeah, so this whole game takes place in a ship. That's pretty cool. Alright, so, what I want to know is if this whole thing takes place on a ship, why is there a strip club here?
Well, I mean, people gotta find entertainment some way or another.
It looks like Bender finally made his ship with blackjack and hookers. Forget the blackjack.
Maybe.
Okay, but like, I got a little thing here. That's clearly either that's a strip club or they're using women to sell bullets. That's all I can think of. It's called the Promised Land. All I know is that if we make it to Mars like Elon Musk wants us to, our ship better have a strip club.
Speaking of Elon Musk, if you want Elon, go ahead and sponsor this podcast.
We'll do a meme review too, like PewDiePie.
Yes.
Subscribe to PewDiePie.
No, it's still pretty early though with this game. It's still in development. But even looking at the system requirements, it's pretty low. So even if you have a potato for a computer, you should be able to play it.
The hell kind of person has a potato for a computer? What is this, GLaDOS?
Poor people.
It's because I'm Irish, isn't it?
No. I'm Irish too.
So all joking aside, yeah, the game looks very pretty, definitely. I don't really I mean, obviously this doesn't show a whole lot, so it's really hard to get a firm grasp on what the game is going to be having. And to be completely honest, I didn't bother to read what the thing was saying, because who can be bothered to read these days? You didn't tell me I was going to have to read.
Well, you didn't tell me I was going to have to learn last week about with rats killing almost all of Europe.
That was 2 weeks ago, thank you very much, and that was also fun. Anyways, so yeah, is this so what is this game coming out for? Is this for PC only, I would assume?
I'm assuming it's only PC, but that's coming out in fall 2020.
Huh. Well, I just got a gaming PC the other day, so this might be one that I might have to check out. Different environments to explore from the engine room and hydro. So okay, so yeah, this definitely seems like it's gonna be a variation of taking place on the ship as well as outside of the ship, because it says dystopian cities of habitat and wasteland. So I'm almost getting, this is gonna sound almost like heresy in a way. I'm getting almost like a No Man's Sky thing, except good. No Man's Sky was trash. Apparently it's gotten better. But anyways, so I'm kind of getting that feel though, like where it's taking place on the ship and you're like RPGing on the ship, but also going out and exploring and discovering things.
That's what I would like to think, but it doesn't really seem to say that completely.
Right.
Or maybe what's going to happen is you're going to send teams out to go to the lands and do whatever.
I'm also getting kind of a Mass Effect vibe. You play Mass Effect?
Oh, I loved Mass Effect.
See, I didn't play Mass Effect. It wasn't my thing, honestly. You could shoot me if you desire. But no, I didn't really play Mass Effect that much. I had a lot of friends that did, so I know the feeling about it. But it's definitely giving me a Mass Effect vibe. So yeah, I think this is gonna be really good. I'm hopeful, I guess. I mean, I've never even heard of it before you showed me this trailer. So we'll wait and see what happens. And because it's a concept trailer, obviously I hope that means that they'll be coming out with more stuff soon. Let's look at some of these comments. This is the name a little bit too close to Amazon Studios' New World.
Orphans of the Sky. Huh.
I don't know what that is. Some Russian stuff. I don't read Russian.
I only speak English and drunkenese.
Yeah, pretty much. I thought I saw something like a reference to No Man's Sky on there too.
It was Orphans of the Sky.
Bob, I need you. Read me Russian. Okay, I don't get that. Anyways, enough joking aside. Next trailer we have for today is one that I'm personally gonna be crazy about because I love the original game back on PS1. It was probably the only kart racer that can compete with Mario Kart, in my opinion. Not better than Mario Kart, I'll say, but it's definitely up there. And this is Crash Team Racing Nitro-Fueled. A new remake coming out this year of the old Crash Team Racing, obviously. And this game looks so good. Let's check it out. Ah, so pretty. Alright, let me just preface this by saying, I'm gonna love this game. But, let me say, okay, one thing that I noticed in this trailer that I did not notice the first time I watched it, is I noticed that Crash at one point was driving around in different cart. And that's one feature that they didn't have in the original game, was in the original game you just played with the one cart you had, like just the standard carts. So, maybe that means there's gonna be some kind of cart customization, or maybe you can, like in Mario Kart fashion, where you can unlock new carts as you go. That's really cool. That gives it more replayability, I'd say. More of an actual, like, longevity, whereas, like, you know, just play it and you're done. Like, you can unlock stuff. And one thing that I hope they do, I don't know if they will, but maybe add some new characters, too. And the original game had a really big roster, too, including, like, a few characters that you could unlock by cheat codes, and then, like, a few that you could unlock by playing through the story. And so I'm hoping maybe they add more characters, but even if they don't, it doesn't matter. It's still going to be a fun game. And let me say, have you played this game, Fuzzy?
I may have played it a long time ago. I actually like Crash.
Yeah, Crash Bandicoot's on.
I'm not a big PlayStation fan, but that was one of the games that I did play that I really liked a lot.
Yeah. So, one thing that I want to say is that, you know, I mentioned a second ago the story mode. And typically, a kart racing game you wouldn't think would have very good story. You'd be like, what kind of story is there to have in a kart racing game? And honestly, the story is not super complicated by any means. But it's
year in Crash Bandicoot, Crash discovers that changes wheels from squares to triangles.
He's a witch! Burn him! No, anyways, so yeah, but the story it's a pretty good story. It's a pretty solid story for a PS1 kart racing game. And I know you said you're not big into PlayStation. I know you don't have a PlayStation. But for all those of you who might want to play this game, you know, the original Crash Bandicoot trilogy that released a few years ago, 2 years ago, 2007 it was, when they remastered all the Crash Bandicoot games, originally came out on PS4, and then eventually came out on Switch and Xbox later. So just don't be upset if, you know, this game comes out for PlayStation and you don't have a PlayStation, because it probably will come out for others. Completely erased, but it probably will come out for other systems as well. Fuzzy, what other thoughts do you have on this trailer? What do you think about it?
Well, it definitely looks like it's going to be a good competitor to Nintendo's racing games. I'm definitely going to be playing it because I actually prefer Crash Racing over the Mario racing games. Yeah. I find them pretty fun.
Yeah. I honestly, I would say, you know, like I said, Mario Kart is always like, it's Mario Kart, so it's almost like better by default. But
Nintendo has left the chat.
Switch has joined the chat. R.I.P. Mario Kart.
Mm-hmm. We have Mario Kart.
No, hold on, you got Nintendo. We have Mario Kart. PlayStation. Hold my beer. But it makes sense though too, because that's what they originally Crash Bandicoot's Crash Bandicoot himself was originally designed supposed to be a PlayStation competitor to Mario. Mm-hmm. Which is also why Crash Team Racing came about. They're like, oh, well, Mario's got Mario Kart. We need something to compete with that. So they took their lovable mascot, Crash Bandicoot, and stuck him in a go-kart, telling him to go race around with friends. I still remember those old Crash Bandicoot commercials where it had the dude dressed up as Crash Bandicoot with a bullhorn outside Nintendo headquarters. Hey, Nintendo! Those were the best. So I know, you know, a lot of the comments on here, we've discussed a couple of them, but one of these ones, can't wait to throw my controller at my
this game is my childhood.
You know, and it's funny because a lot of people really enjoy this game, which is a little surprising because, like, you wouldn't think it would get as much recognition nowadays. So we got some ideas here for some DLC characters we could throw in here. I don't really know how a lot of them are going to work, but you got Spyro,
Boo!
Ripto,
Boo!
Diddy Kong, which that's not going to work. Let's face that. Sly Raccoon, though, I could get behind that. I can get behind Sly Raccoon, and Sonic the Hedgehog. I don't think Sonic the Hedgehog would work because he's actually coming out with his own kart racing game this summer as well. And then we also got down here, we got Embryo, which is another one of the bad guys. Koala Kong, which is another bad guy. Tawna Bandicoot, which was Crash Bandicoot's girlfriend in the first game. Mm-hmm. Komodo Mo. What about Komodo Joe? Come on, don't be racist.
The dinosaur of Crash Warped.
That would be interesting. The dinosaur that chases him on those. That would be interesting. I don't know how the hell he'd fit his fat ass in a cart, but
he is the cart.
Oh, you know what? I can get behind that. Another choice for Spyro, and then one character of Skylanders. No. Keep Skylanders far away. No one wants Skylanders. Go away. A lot of people says it's going to be the best for the PS4.
That's debatable.
Yeah, okay, that's debatable. Anyways, so yeah, I'm going to love this game. And one thing that's going to be really cool about this is that the original one obviously didn't have online capabilities. So now you can pick up this game and play online with your friends. So
I might have to get a PlayStation and whip Ambrose's butt.
Heh, you wish.
Oh, it's on.
Fight me in real life.
Okay.
Oh. So, yeah, anyways, I'm really looking forward to this game. I loved the original. I loved all things Crash Bandicoot. My sister had the PS1, and I loved playing Crash Bandicoot on it. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to this game, and I hope this leads to other types of remasters coming, too. We know, Crash Bandicoot and Spyro both got remastered recently. I would personally love a Crash Bash remaster.
I fully agree.
Oh, I love that one. That was like my game as a kid. So, hopefully something like that can get remastered, and hopefully this can lead to even like new good Crash games. Because for a while there, the Crash games kind of sucked. Like a lot of especially the ones where he got his revamped design, and he just looked kind of stupid. Like he had like Jason Momoa tattoos all over his arms, and it was weird look. But I'm hyped. I'm really hyped. Any other thoughts about this? Or
nope.
All right. Well, that was Crash Team Racing. It's coming out June 21st, 2019 on the PS4 exclusively, and then probably Xbox Switch coming out later on. And that's our last trailer that we're going to view today. Any other interesting things you know about today?
Nope.
No? All right. Well, in that case, I'm Ambrose.
I'm Fuzzy.
And we'll see you next time.